Part 28. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 271. What makes Lin Su very strange is that the branch halls were destroyed one after another, but neither Su Kangqian nor Su Jiankun showed up, not even once. Lin Su, who was following far behind, was quite speechless. He had planned to do it between the two. When people appeared, they made a strong move to leave at least one person behind, and to clear some obstacles for the subsequent attack on the main hall of Xianxia Palace. I didn't expect the two of them to be so patient. Okay, since you don't show up, then I will go directly to your lair. After the last branch of Xianxia Palace was destroyed, Su Kangqian and Su Qianqun still did not appear, and Lin Su could only helplessly say he gritted his teeth and turned around to return to Yama City. Times degree times degree times. It's so happy. It's so happy. After hundreds of years, this period is the happiest. Seeing those offenders from Xianxia Palace being crushed into powder, I feel so happy. In the palace of the Lord of Yama City, Ye Tianxiang laughed happily. Linzi, all the branch halls of Xianxia Palace have been cleaned up. It's overwhelming. It seems that we think that Xianxia Palace is too powerful. After so many years, our strength has long surpassed theirs. We just happened to defeat them in one go. The main palace is captured and the Xianxia Palace disappears in the chaotic sea of stars. The bald man Tianyuan also looked high-spirited. Lin Su looked at the people with high-spirited faces and nodded. Things are indeed going very smoothly, but don't be too blindly optimistic. Don't forget that so far, there are no real masters in Xianxia Palace. Su Kangqian and Su Qianqun have never appeared before. That's because they are afraid of us and don't dare to show up, someone shouted. Is that really true? Lin Su shook his head. I'm afraid things are not that simple, right? Think about it, what kind of behavior has Xianxia Palace always had, and now it suddenly behaves so weakly, don't you think it's abnormal? Linzi, do you mean that Xianxia Palace is showing weakness? The bald man touched his chin thoughtfully. That's right. If something goes wrong, it must be a monster. Lin Su nodded and said, in my opinion, Su Kangqian should have taken all his power back to the main hall of Su Tian Palace, and wants to concentrate on fighting us to the death. I'm afraid that a dragnet has already been set up in the main hall of Xianxia Palace, waiting for us. No matter what kind of dragnet he is, with our current strength, we can just crush him. One effort can defeat him 10 times. No matter how many skills he has, it is useless in the face of absolute strength. Zhang Yunfan waved his hand nonchalantly, and then changed his voice, but what you said, Linzi, is not unreasonable. We'd better be careful. How about we go and investigate first? Lin Su looked at Zhang Yunfan speechlessly. Didn't this guy's voice change too quickly? However, what Zhang Yunfan said happened to be Lin Su's plan, so he nodded and said, Yunfan is right. Although our current strength is stronger than that of Xianxia Palace, we still can't take it too lightly. After all, that is the main palace of Xianxia Palace. There are some traps that we don't know about. Just as Yunfan said, he and I will go check it out, and everyone should seize the time to recharge and attack the main hall of Xianxia Palace in half a month. The matter was settled like this. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan went to the main hall of Xianxia Palace to check. Others were preparing for the upcoming battle. Before setting off, Zai Zhou and the girls couldn't help but tell Lin Su to be careful and not to be too pushy. If something goes wrong, retreat immediately. Safety comes first. Don't worry. The main hall of Xianxia Palace is not a dragon's pond or a tiger's den. Besides, even a dragon's pond and a tiger's den can't trap me, your husband. Don't forget that I can enter the spirit field space to escape at any time. Lin Su smiled confidently. The spiritual field space is now his biggest support. Even if something goes wrong, he can immediately hide in the spiritual field space. The tyrant Bear King has said that no one can force it in the current human world. Entering the spirit field space, Lin Su was convinced of this. Zhou and others' eyes lit up. Yes. How could they forget Lin Su's spiritual field space? With the spiritual field space here, Lin Su's comfort is indeed nothing to worry about. Sister Zuier, don't worry. As long as I'm watching over the forest, nothing big will happen. If there's any danger, I'll pull him into the spiritual field space right away, Zhang Yunfan assured, patting his chest. Now among the crowd, except Lin Su and Mr. Xiang apart from the ancestors, Zhang Yunfan has the highest level of cultivation and the strongest strength. He has reached the peak of the middle stage of yuanying. Moreover, Zhang Yunfan has always been smart and blessed. He has never suffered any big losses since he entered the world of immortality. Every time he has danger can be turned into safety. With him following Lin Su, I think it will be much safer. Although the location of the main hall of Xianxia Palace is secret, Yamaluadian and Spirit Beast Island have already investigated it for revenge over the years. With the help of LinkedIn Space, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan easily sneaked into the main hall of Xianxia Palace. Yunfan, do you feel a little strange? It stands to reason that since the Xianxia Palace has withdrawn all its power into the main hall, it should be heavily guarded. Why did you only meet a few people when you came in? Something is wrong, something is really wrong. It is indeed very strange. This defense force is much laxer than that of the branch halls. Where have all the people gone? Zhang Yunfan scratched his head. Did the Xianxia Palace even give up their old nest? Let's go out and look for it. It doesn't matter even if we alert the people of Xianxia Palace, it's just a good time to alert the snake and see what they are doing, Lin Su said, and moved himself and Zhang Yunfan out of the spiritual field with a thought. Space. Who is this person? He broke into my Xianxia Palace without permission. After leaving the spiritual field space, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan checked separately, but still couldn't find any flaws. They had no choice but to expose their bodies. Immediately, more than 10 cultivators from Xianxia Palace surrounded them. However, the highest cultivation level was only in the middle stage of Jindan. These low cultivation disciples of Xianxia Palace naturally didn't take them seriously. Before Lin Su made a move, Zhang Yunfan killed them all with one move. Several waves of cultivators from Xianxia Palace came one after another, but the highest cultivation level was only in the late stage of Jindan. There was no cultivator above the yuanying stage, let alone Su Kangxian and Su Qinqin. Su Kangxian, you old dog, get out. Otherwise, I will demolish your Xianxia Palace. Lin Su lost his patience, punched out and destroyed a hall, and shouted loudly. Seeing that Su Kangxian and Su Qinqin still hadn't shown up, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan made up their minds and began to destroy the buildings of Xianxia Palace. Occasionally, a few monks from Xianxia Palace came up to stop them, but they were beaten into blood mist by the two men and could not stop them at all. At this time, by the backyard pond of Huangsu Pavilion of Xianxia Palace, a water mirror in front of Su Kangxian and Su Qinqin showed the scene of Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan wantonly destroying the buildings of Xianxia Palace. Palace Master. If they continue to tear down like this, if the foundation of the palace is destroyed, the magic array will not be able to start. We can't wait any longer, Su Qinqin glanced at Su Kangxian and said anxiously. Damn it! How come Lin Su's little beast came so quickly? Qinqin, didn't you say that they would attack in half a month? Su Kangxian's eyes flashed with hostility, and his gaze was cast into the pond. The blood sacrifice of the magic array is only 80% complete now. If it is activated now, the power will be greatly weakened. The pond is constantly bubbling with blood-red bubbles. This is actually a huge blood pool. Waves of blood and death are diffused in the blood pool. You can faintly see the bloody corpses rolling in the pool water. From the clothes that occasionally reveal a corner, they are all cultivators from Xianxia Palace. Palace Master, although the blood sacrifice of the magic array is only 80% complete, it should be enough to kill those two guys. If they continue to destroy it like this, if the array base is damaged, then we will fail. In the water mirror, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan are advancing all the way to the direction of Huangsu Pavilion. It won't be long before they will destroy the blood pool. Su Qinqin can't sit still. In the Chaos Star Sea, although Xiushan Palace is collectively known as the three top forces together with Lingshao Island and Yanluo Palace, the history of Xiushan Palace is much older than that of Lingshao Island and Yanluo Palace. It existed long before the spiritual world was separated from the human world. Unlike the main island and Yanluo city of Lingshao Island, the main hall of Xiushan Palace is not only their home, but also a top-grade spiritual treasure. Only Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin, the two chief and deputy hall masters in the entire Xiushan Palace, know this. Top-grade spiritual treasures are second only to immortal weapons. No one in the human world can drive them. Although Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin know that this is a top-grade spiritual treasure, they simply do not have the strength to refine it. If they cannot refine it, they cannot drive it freely. Xiushan Palace is a space-type magic weapon that can take the enemy into it and launch a large formation to kill. Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin cannot refine Xiushan Palace, so naturally they cannot take people into it, but they know another way to activate the formation of Xiushan Palace. There is a pond in the backyard of Huangsu Pavilion of Xiushan Palace. This is the center of the formation of Xiushan Palace. As long as enough homologous energy and blood are absorbed, the formation of Xiushan Palace can be activated to trap and kill all enemies entering Xiushan Palace. However, this homologous energy is limited to the cultivators who have practiced the skills of Xiushan Palace. In other words, only by using the blood sacrifice of Xiushan Palace disciples can the formation center absorb enough homologous energy and blood, and it takes a certain amount of time to complete the blood sacrifice. In order to activate the formation, Xiushan Palace has withdrawn most of the disciples from various branch halls in recent days. Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin killed them and threw them into the blood pool for blood sacrifice. 80% of the blood sacrifice has been completed. According to the plan, the blood sacrifice should be completely completed when the general attack is launched on Lingshao Island and Yanluo Palace. At that time, no matter how many people come, they will be killed by the formation and wiped out. Unfortunately, the plan cannot keep up with the changes. Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin did not expect Lin Su to come alone to investigate in advance. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 272. No, he is not alone. There is also Zhang Yunfan, who is at the peak of the middle stage of nascent soul, accompanying Lin Su. However, Zhang Yunfan is not in the eyes of Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin at all. In their view, only Lin Su is their life and death enemy. Everyone else is nothing to worry about. Seeing Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan in the water mirror getting closer and closer to Huangsu Pavilion, Su Kangsheng gritted his teeth and said, "Forget it, 80% is 80%, it's enough to deal with two people. Activate the formation immediately." As he spoke, he stood up and formed a series of seals with his hands, which turned into a series of spells. The stream of light shot into the blood pool. The Su Qinqin on the side also quickly formed seals. The blood pool began to roll, and the center position gradually formed. A whirlpool formed, and the corpses of the Xiushan temple monks in the blood pool were drawn into the whirlpool and chopped into pieces, and were sucked into the center of the whirlpool together with the blood and water. In just a moment, a pool of blood and water slowly disappeared together with the corpses in it. There were no holes in the pool, but an extremely majestic energy rippled from the bottom of the pool. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan, who were wreaking havoc on the Xiushan temple building, suddenly trembled and looked towards the direction of the blood pool. In their perception, a terrifying force full of blood and killing intent was coming from that pool. The direction rose rapidly and spread in all directions at an extremely fast speed. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Walk. An ominous premonition suddenly arose in Lin Su's heart. With a cold shout, his body rose into the air and rushed towards the direction of the energy wave. Zhang Yunfan also followed him with an expression on his face. Void sky. Throwing himself into the backyard of Huangsu Pavilion, Lin Su stopped and floated in the air. His eyes focused on Su Qingshan, who was standing quietly next to the blood pool. As for Su Qingshan next to him, he automatically ignored him, as if he was in Su Qingshan. In the eyes of Qingshan, there is only Lin Su as an opponent, and in the eyes of Lin Su, only Su Qingshan is worthy of fighting him. As for Su Qingshan, Zhang Yunfan can take care of this guy. Lin Su. Lin Su stared at Su Qingshan, and Su Qingshan also stared at him coldly. You are so brave, you dare to break into my Xianxia palace. Young master has always been very courageous. But you, an old guy, have mastered the turtle magic skill after not seeing me for so many years, Lin Su mocked with a cold smile. Su Qingshan's face darkened. He couldn't tell that Lin Su was mocking him for hiding like a turtle, and he was extremely angry at the moment. Lin Su, don't be too arrogant. This is my Xianxia palace, not a place for you to run wild, Su Qingshan on the side yelled. Who did I think was making the noise? It turns out it's old dog Qingshan, you, the defeated general. What's the matter, have you become more courageous in the past few days and no longer run for your life with your tail between your legs? Lin Su glanced at Su Qingshan with disdain. You. Su Qingshan's old face turned red with anger. The last time he was beaten by Lin Su until he fled into the portal like a lost dog was the most embarrassing thing for him in so many years. Now he is beaten by Lin Su. Su exposed it like this, just like giving him a hard slap on the face and then opening the wound and adding salt to it. If he hadn't known that he was not Lin Su's opponent, he would have rushed forward to fight. What are you doing? Old guy, if you are not convinced, I will practice with you. After receiving Lin Su's gaze, Zhang Yunfan smiled clearly, jumped in front of Su Qingshan, and raised his fingers at him with a smile. Where did you come from, you little bastard? I'll tear you apart if you don't live. Zhang Yunfan's cultivation is only at the peak of the middle stage of Yuanying. Su Qingshan is already at the late stage of Yuanying. From Su Qingshan's point of view, he can't afford to offend Lin Su, a pervert. Couldn't he still deal with Zhang Yunfan's follower? He immediately roared and rushed towards Zhang Yunfan, fighting in a ball. Old dog of the sky, come on. I'll play with you too. Zhang Yunfan was already fighting with Su Qingshan. Of course, Lin Su couldn't fall behind. Moreover, the terrifying power around him gradually became stronger. Lin Su, the ominous feeling in Su's heart is getting stronger and stronger, so it would be better to make a quick decision and deal with Su Qingshan quickly. Lin Su, little thief, don't be too arrogant. Today I will let you know what it means to have a high heaven and earth. The blood sacrifice has begun, but it will take some time for the formation to completely absorb the power of the blood sacrifice, and Su Qingshan can only hold on. Scalp tried to hold Lin Su back. Lin Su was focused on a quick victory and did not hold back at all. He summoned all the 5 elements spiritual swords with one move and formed the Dantian 5 elements sword formation and slashed towards Su Qingshan head over heels. At the same time, he cooperated with the sword formation. He swung his fists at Su Qingshan and beat him to the point where he could only parry but not fight back. If he hadn't used Su Tianding early in the morning, he would have been beaten to the ground. Damn it! We are both at the great perfection stage in the late nascent soul, so why is this boy's fighting power so terrifying? Su Qingshan used his strength to resist Lin Su's attack like a violent storm, crying in his heart. He originally resisted the Dantian 5 elements sword formation's attack is already very reluctant, but Lin Su can actually control the sword formation to attack at close range. What a pervert! It's indeed the magical skill of the turtle. This turtle shell is really hard. I want to see how long you can hold on. When I smash your turtle shell, I will definitely tear you old turtle out of your skin. Xianxia's Xiushan cauldron is much stronger than Qianqian's, and has reached the peak of the middle grade spiritual weapon. Lin Su couldn't smash it for a while, but there is a saying that if you guard it for a long time, you will lose it. Lin Su will definitely be able to break through Xiushan cauldron's defense in a short while. On the other side, Su Qianqian and Zhang Yunfan were fighting evenly. No, it should be said that Zhang Yunfan had a slight advantage, which really shocked and angered Su Qianqian. Originally, Su Qianqian thought that with his late nascent soul cultivation, although he was not a match for Lin Su, a pervert, he could easily defeat Zhang Yunfan, a guy at the peak of the middle nascent soul stage. Who would have thought that after fighting with Zhang Yunfan, Su Qianqian found that the opponent was not as vulnerable as he thought. Although his cultivation was one level lower than his strength was not weaker at all, and even slightly higher. At the beginning, Su Qianqian was careless and was almost pierced through the heart by Zhang Yunfan's sword. Su Qianqian, who woke up, burst out with all his strength in horror and dared not hold back any more. Only then did he barely block Zhang Yunfan's crazy attack. Although he would not be defeated for a while, he was completely at a disadvantage. Su Qianqian was so depressed at the moment. It was enough to have a pervert like Lin Su, and now there was a guy like Zhang Yunfan who could also challenge him. When did all these monsters who defy the heavens appear one by one? And they all gathered together. This world is really crazy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 273. After an incense stick of time, Su Qianqian's face gradually turned pale. Starting the blood sacrifice had already consumed a lot of his true energy. Now he was using all his strength to activate the defense of Su Tianding. The true energy consumption was very huge, and he had a faint feeling that he could not continue. Holy Dragon Claw. Lin Su also felt that the defense of Su Tianding had weakened. He immediately became energetic and used the third move of Xiantian 9 moves, Holy Dragon Claw. This was a new trick that appeared after he turned into a dragon and achieved the body of a 5-clawed golden dragon. Although he practiced it many times in the spiritual field space, it was the first time he really used it. Golden claw wind rose from the fingertips, leaving several mysterious traces, and with a loud dragon roar, it grabbed the defensive light shield of Su Tianding fiercely. The light shield that was extremely tough before, and even the continuous slashing of Dantian 5 elements sword formation and the continuous bombardment of Lin Su's fists could not make a crack, seemed to become papier-mâché, and shattered silently, and even the Su Tianding had faint cracks. Puff. The defensive light shield was broken, and the Su Tianding let out a wail and turned into a stream of light and drilled into Su Qianqiang's body. Su Qianqiang also retreated violently. Just as he stabilized himself, he spurted out a mouthful of old blood. The look he gave Lin Su was filled with a trace of fear that could not be concealed in his horror. How can it be so strong? Su Qianqian was indeed a little weak, but according to his estimation, it was more than enough to block Lin Su for another stick of incense. By then, the blood sacrifice power absorbed by the Xiushan Palace formation could be fully exerted. Even if it was only 80% of its peak, it was enough to crush Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan into powder. However, he did not expect that Lin Su's attack power would suddenly increase. The fierce claw wind was like a golden dragon claw falling from the sky, which shattered his defense in an instant. Even his life treasure, Xiushan Ding, was damaged. Since he had such a powerful trick, why didn't he use it at the beginning? In fact, this was not Lin Su's deliberate concealment. It was really that this sacred dragon claw was not an ordinary trick and could not be used easily. Xiantian 9 styles was indeed indescribable. The power of each style was earth-shattering and infinitely useful, but the relative consumption was also astonishingly large. With Lin Su's current strength, Xiantian finger can hit 3 fingers, and Xiantian blood escape can also support for a period of time, but this holy dragon claw can only hit once in a short period of time, and it will also consume most of the dragon essence in the body. This is why Lin Su did not use holy dragon claw at the beginning. First, he did not know the true power of holy dragon claw. Second, once the attack was ineffective, his own combat power would drop sharply, and then the situation of victory and defeat would be reversed. Later, when he realized that Xianxia was already exhausted, Lin Su decisively used Holy Dragon Claw. Even if the attack was ineffective, Xianxia was not afraid of the opponent's reversal in his current state. Fortunately, although Holy Dragon Claw was used for the first time, its power was quite amazing. It broke all of Xianxia's defenses in an instant, and even his turtle cauldron was damaged. It was definitely impossible to use it in a short time. Without the Xianxian Ding, Xianxia lost most of his abilities, not to mention that his life magic weapon was damaged. Xianxia was already injured under the influence of the qi. He was already at a disadvantage, and now he was no match for Lin Su. Palace Master. Ah! Xianxia, who was fighting with Zhang Yunfan, saw from the corner of his eye that Xianxia was damaged by Lin Su's claws and the whole person was vomiting blood and thrown away. He was horrified and unconsciously revealed a flaw in panic. Zhang Yunfan would never miss such a good opportunity. The spiritual sword in his hand shone brightly, and dozens of sword beams stabbed in an instant, hitting Xianxia's middle door wide open. He was hit by more than 10 swords, and one arm was almost cut off. He retreated with serious injuries and obviously had no strength to fight again. Xianxia, today is the day you 2 old dogs die, Lin Su smiled coldly, and before he finished speaking, he had already pounced on them, leaving only a residual shadow on the spot. The ominous feeling in his heart did not subside with the defeat of Xianxia and the others, but became even stronger. It is better to fight quickly and decisively. No more waiting, start now. After barely blocking Lin Su's attacks, Xianxia couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of old blood. Xianxia on the side was even worse, and was constantly injured by Zhang Yunfan. If they waited any longer, they might not be able to wait until the formation completely absorbed the power of the blood sacrifice, and they would die in the hands of Lin Su and the others. Xianxia's eyes flashed with a trace of unwillingness, and he gritted his teeth and shouted violently, ignoring Lin Su's fists, and his hands suddenly formed a seal. At the same time, Xianxia also formed a similar seal, and suddenly a strange phenomenon occurred. Lin Su's fist that had hit Xianxia and Zhang Yunfan's spiritual sword that had slashed towards Xianxia's head were blocked by a layer of blood-colored light film that suddenly appeared, and they could not move forward half an inch. The figures of Xianxia and Xianxia twisted like water waves, and then disappeared and reappeared in the sky 100 feet away from Xianxian Palace. Blood sacrifice power, Xianxian formation, start. Xianxia's hateful voice sounded in Xianxian Palace like thunder, and the surging blood energy quickly emerged from the ground of Xianxian Palace. In a blink of an eye, the entire Xianxian Palace has become a world filled with blood mist. Yunfan, this blood mist is weird, don't let it get close. As soon as the blood mist touches the skin, it immediately burrows through the pores into the body like gangrene attached to the bone. When it touches the dragon yuan flowing in the meridians, an incompatible confrontation begins. Although it is quickly wiped out by the dragon yuan is also there was a lot of damage, and Lin Su was shocked and hurriedly propped up the shield and reminded Zhang Yunfan loudly. Ha ha ha! Little thief Lin Su, have you seen how powerful you are? This is a great gift from me. It cost me the lives of 80% of the disciples of Xianxian Palace to activate the Xianxian formation. Don't say that you are just in it. Even if you have reached the nascent soul stage or the integration stage, you will still end up being turned into nothingness. Ha ha ha. Su Kangxiang's arrogant laughter came from all directions, and Lin Su's face turned completely gloomy. No wonder he had an ominous premonition in his heart. It turned out that this was Su Kangxiang's backup plan. The Xianxia formation was activated with the lives of 80% of Xianxia temple disciples as sacrifices. Su Kangxiang is such a big hand and such a cruel heart. This is exactly the same as injuring the enemy by 1000 and injuring yourself by 800. No, it should be the method of injuring the enemy by 800 and injuring yourself by 1000. This old guy is really crazy. In order to deal with him, he would not hesitate to sacrifice the entire Xianxia palace. Su Kangxiang, you inhumane old bastard. You actually used the lives of all the monks in the entire Su Tian temple to deal with me, you unconscionable old dog. In addition to the monks of Xianxia temple who were sacrificed by blood, there are still some monks in the entire Xianxia temple. Basically, this is the last family property of Xianxia temple. Now that the Xianxia formation is activated, the entire Xianxia temple is covered among them. Lin Su has already tried it. There is a blood-red light shield covering the entire Xianxia palace above. It cannot be broken open by ordinary means. In other words, these monks in Xianxia palace have been regarded by Su Kangxiang and Su Qinqin. After this battle, no matter whether Lin Su or Lin Su were alive or dead, the Xianxia palace was finished. Humph. So what? As long as I can kill you, a little sacrifice is nothing at all, Su Kangxiang snorted coldly. In fact, his heart was bleeding at this moment. Originally, according to his plan, although most of the monks from Xianxia temple would be used as blood sacrifices, the elite power could still be preserved. At that time, as long as Lin Su, together with the Spirit Beast Island and Yama temple invaded, if all the enemies are wiped out together, then Su Tianqian will be the absolute winner, and the era when Su Tian Palace will unify the chaotic sea of stars will come. But who would have thought that Lin Su would come to investigate first, completely disrupting Su Kangxiang's plan, and even launching the incomplete Su Kangxiang formation before the remaining disciples had time to withdraw. Even if he could kill Lin Su in here, Xianxia Palace is also severely damaged, and is no longer able to deal with Spirit Beast Island and Yama Palace. After all, except for Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan, everyone else on Spirit Beast Island and Yama Palace has suffered no losses. Lin Su, you damned bastard. After paying such a high price, I will definitely refine you into blood water this time. Su Kangxiang looked at the main hall shrouded in blood-colored light with red eyes. The price paid by Tiandian was too huge, almost the same as destroying the whole family. Although Su Kangxiang said he didn't care, his heart was so painful that he wanted to peel off Lin Su's skin and cut his body into pieces. In the main hall of Xianxia Palace, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan have worked together to bombard the blood-colored light shield for a long time, but they still cannot break it. The blood-colored mist around them is getting thicker, and the protective air shield they hold up is consuming a lot of energy every moment. I really can't hold on to my true energy if this continues. Screams came from all directions. They were the wails of the monks of Xianxia Palace before they died. As the monks of Xianxia Palace died one by one, their flesh and blood souls were eroded by the blood mist and turned into the energy of the Great Formation. The aura emanating from the array became increasingly terrifying. This formation is too powerful. If we continue like this, our true energy will be exhausted sooner or later. After a long attack to no avail, Zhang Yunfan was already slightly out of breath. Lin Su frowned and dodged to Zhang Yunfan's side, grabbing him. Don't waste your energy. Let's hide in the linked yen space first. Don't resist suction. With a thought, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan's figures disappeared and entered the spirit field space. Although the Xianxia formation was powerful, it could not invade another space, which made the two men sigh in relief. Lin Zi, it's a good thing you have this spiritual field space, otherwise we might really end up here today. Zhang Yunfan took a long breath, took out a few spiritual pills and threw them into his mouth, using his energy to restore his true energy. I'm afraid things are not that simple. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 274. Lin Su stood in the spirit field space, and a water mirror in front of him reflected the situation outside. The Xianxia formation did not stop operating because of the departure of Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan. The concentration of the blood mist was still increasing. The screams of the Xianxia temple monks before their death came from the water mirror but became weaker and weaker. I don't know how long this formation will last. Forget it, it's better to restore the dragon essence quickly. The holy dragon claw just consumed most of Lin Su's dragon essence, so he should restore his strength to its peak first. Now there is no need to work hard to resist the erosion of the blood mist in the spirit field space. With the richness of the spiritual energy in the spirit field space and the fine elixir refined by Lin Su himself, it does not take much time to return to peak condition. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan hid in the spirit field space to recover, but Su Kangxing and Su Qianqian were dumbfounded. What's going on? Where did those two little thieves go? Why did they disappear in the blink of an eye? In just a blink of an eye, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan disappeared without a trace under his nose. Kang Qiang's eyes almost popped out. So weird. It's so weird. How could two nice living people disappear in the blink of an eye? And it disappeared so silently and without any warning. Su Kangxing can be sure that Lin Su and the two have never left the formation. The Xianxia formation has the ability to block space. Even the legendary teleportation can never cross the blood-colored light shield. But why did the two of them suddenly disappear? Su Kangxing felt that his head was about to get big. This obviously impossible thing happened. Just when he thought everything was under control, it happened. Moreover, he was so confused that he couldn't even figure out the reason. Puff. In a mixture of shock and anger, Su Kangxing couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of old blood. His internal injuries were a bit more serious, and he yelled with a ferocious face, "Lin Su, you shrinking turtle, get out of here. Don't you want to revenge? Don't you want to destroy my Xianxia palace? Get out of here." The angry roar resounded like thunder throughout the entire main hall of Xianxia palace, and naturally spread from the water mirror into the spirit field space. In response, Lin Su just raised the corner of his mouth with a sarcastic smile, and continued with his luck restored to Long Yuan. He didn't even bother to talk to Su Kangxing. No matter how unpleasant your scolding is, I will just treat it as a breeze blowing in my face and ignore it. Anyway, a few scoldings will not lose a piece of meat. If you have the strength, just scold and see who can outlast whom. Hall Master, have those two thieves escaped from the formation? Su Qianqian couldn't help but ask weakly after searching the main hall for more than a dozen times but still finding nothing. Absolutely impossible. The Xianxia formation is a killing formation that can trap even the legendary masters in the fusion stage. Who are those two thieves? How can they escape from the formation? Su Kangxing roared with a ferocious look on his face. They must still be in the big formation, but they just don't know how to hide their figures. Yes, that's definitely the case. They think that we will be fooled and open up. Let's go in and investigate, and then they can take the opportunity to escape. Huh. You dare to show off this little trick in front of me? It's just a trick. The more Su Kangxing talked, the more he felt that his conjecture was correct. His eyes gradually brightened, and the ferocious look on his face became even more ferocious. Humph. The Xianxia formation can absorb the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth to maintain the operation of the formation. I don't believe you can hide in there for the rest of your life. Let's see how long you can hold on. Rightward arrow. The Xianxia formation based on the top-grade spiritual treasure of Xianxia Temple is indeed extremely terrifying. Su Kangxing's statement that it can trap and kill masters in the integration stage is not groundless. The full version of the formation can even automatically absorb the heaven and earth. The spiritual energy continues to strengthen its own power and circulate continuously. When it reaches its peak state, Let alone a strong person in the integration stage, it can kill anyone below an immortal. It's just that because Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan arrived too quickly and suddenly, Su Kangsheng and the two were not fully prepared. They had only completed 80% of the blood sacrifice. Coupled with the hasty launch, the power of Su Tian's formation was not as powerful as it was at its peak. 60%, although it can absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to maintain operation, its power will not increase. This can be regarded as the luck of Lin Su and the two of them. If the power of the formation can be enhanced, they will really be trapped in the formation. Although they will not be harmed by the formation due to the spiritual field space protection, they want to. It is extremely difficult to escape. Linzi, that old guy from Su Kangsheng, said that this formation can operate on its own, so wouldn't that mean we can't get out? What Su Kangsheng said was transmitted to the spirit field space through the water mirror. Zhang Yunfan couldn't help but feel a little anxious, but before Lin Su could speak, the voice of the tyrant Bear King rang out, "This formation is good. But it's not fully activated, otherwise you'll be in real trouble this time." Lin Su and the two looked back. Isn't the tall figure behind them looking at the scene in the water mirror with a smile on their face the Overlord Bear King? Lin Su slapped his head, looking at his memory. How could he forget this man? Who is the tyrant Bear King? He is one of the 8 demon kings in the immortal world. He can't do anything about the Lashiza Xiushan formation, but that doesn't mean the tyrant Bear King can't do anything either. At that moment, Lin Su turned over and climbed up, looked at the tyrant Bear King with a flattering look and said with a smile, "Senior Bear King, can you break this formation?" "Lin Zi, what are you talking about?" Senior Xiang King took action. "This little formation must have been easily accomplished." "Right, Senior Xiang King," Zhang Yunfan patted the horse in cooperation. "This formation is not complete and has not exerted its maximum power. At most, it can be maintained and will not be enhanced. Lin, your holy dragon claw just now is enough to break it. There is no need for me, Grandpa Bear, to take action." Tyrant Bear King waved his hand and turned around and slowly walked towards his bear den. He thought that Lin Su, this kid, had encountered some danger that he could not solve. This kid can definitely handle this little thing by himself, so there is no need to worry about it. Can the Holy Dragon Claw break the formation light shield? Lin Su's eyes lit up. It seems that his guess was right. The power of Holy Dragon Claw can indeed break the formation light shield. There is nothing to worry about. Hurry up and restore the dragon essence and restore the strength to the peak state. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan smiled at each other, and continued to sit cross-legged, swallowing the elixir to restore the true essence with all their strength. 3 hours later. "Lin, brother, I have fully recovered." "What about you?" Zhang Yunfan jumped up from the ground and laughed at Lin Su. "I've recovered a long time ago, just waiting for you." Lin Su opened his eyes, a cold light flashed in his eyes. "It's time to go out, those two old dogs are almost jumping up and down in anxiety, aren't they?" Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 275. Outside the barrier of the Xiushan Palace's formation, Su Kangsheng and Su Qinqin were indeed getting impatient, especially Su Qinqin, whose eyes were red as if he was possessed by a demon, staring at the formation, muttering, "Impossible. How could they hold on for so long? This is impossible." The Xiushan Palace disciples in the formation had already died completely, their flesh, blood, bones and souls had all turned into the purest energy and been absorbed by the formation. If the previous formation could only exert 60% of its power in its heyday, it has now increased to 70%. Don't underestimate this 10% difference. If 60% of the power of the formation can trap a Yuanying stage strongman to death, then 70% of the power is enough to trap a strongman in the early stage of the god transformation. This 10% increase in power brings a qualitative change. But even such a terrifying killing formation could not do anything to Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan, and could not even force the two of them out, which made Xianxia unacceptable. Lin Su is a late nascent soul cultivator with strong resistance and can hold on for a while longer. Xianxia can barely accept this, but Zhang Yunfan is only at the peak of the middle nascent soul stage. Why can he hold on for so long? Xianxia couldn't figure it out, and couldn't accept it. This was too unbelievable. Could it be that he was not as good as Lin Su, and even this Zhang Yunfan who suddenly appeared? Palace Master, didn't you say that they absolutely couldn't escape the formation? Why haven't they been seen for so long? Could it be? Xianxia was not much better than Xianxia, and was even more upset. Absolutely impossible. You are also very clear about the power of the Xianxia formation. They can't escape silently, Xianxia growled with a ferocious face. As long as the master of the formation does not take action, the Xianxia formation will continue to run. I don't believe they can last forever. I want to see Lin Su turn into blood with my own eyes. Xianxia actually wanted to say that since they can't get out, we might as well leave first, but when he saw Xianxia's ferocious face, he swallowed the words back, and continued to stare at the formation with a bitter face, while practicing the skills to recover from the injuries as much as possible. Speaking of which, Xianxia and Xianxia didn't practice the skills to heal their injuries after leaving the formation. Xianxia even kept urging his true essence to speed up the operation of the formation. The current state of the two is far from the peak state. As time went by, Xianxia no longer had much hope that the formation could kill Lin Su and the others. At this moment, he even felt a little regretful. The three major forces in Chaos Star Sea have always been in a state of balance. Although there are some minor frictions between them, they have always been at peace on the surface. This state was originally quite good. It was all because of greed and jealousy. After learning that Yan Luo Tianzi, Yewuji and Lin Su had left Chaos Star Sea one after another, Xianxia ordered a full-scale attack on the Spirit Beast Island and Yan Luo Palace. He was also hot-headed and reconsidered without thinking, which caused today's disaster. Now thinking back, Xianxia Palace should not have provoked the Spirit Beast Island and Yan Luo Palace, especially the evildoer Lin Su. Such a pervert will definitely not stay in this world for a long time, and will go to the spirit world sooner or later. If he had not provoked him at the beginning but had established a good relationship with him, maybe the people who entered the spirit world last time would not be just Yewuji and Yan Luo Tianzi. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in this world. Since they have become mortal enemies, they can only fight to the death. Xianxia can only pray in his heart that the Xianxia formation can really work and completely wipe out the evildoer Lin Su. Just when Xianxia and Xianxia were getting impatient and anxious, the figures of Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan finally appeared in the formation, and as soon as they appeared, they rushed towards the light shield barrier with great momentum. Ha ha ha! It's finally here. I knew no one could withstand the erosion of the Xianxia formation. Xianxia's eyes glowed with wolf-like green light, and he laughed wildly. Lin Su, you are destined to turn into blood and die in this formation, don't waste your energy. Holy Dragon Claw! A deafening dragon roar sounded, and Lin Su swung his right hand in a claw shape. A golden dragon claw appeared from his claws and grabbed the barrier light shield fiercely. With a crisp click, Xianxia's arrogant voice stopped abruptly, his eyes bulged out, and he looked at the barrier hit by Lin Su's right claw in disbelief. Spiderweb-like cracks spread rapidly, and time seemed to pause at this moment. Then the entire barrier light shield burst open, and violent energy shot out from it, forming a huge hurricane that hit Xianxia and Xianxia. Impossible! How could you possibly break the barrier of the Xianxia Great Array? With the strength of Xianxia and Xianxia, although they were hit by the gushing energy when they were caught off guard, they were only repelled. The energy that escaped after the formation was broken could not hurt them at all. It was just that the shock to the mind was far more hurtful than the physical trauma. This was how Xianxia felt now. It's just a barrier. I can break it with a wave of my hand. What's the big deal? Lin Su waved his hand carelessly, with a look of disdain on his face. Su Kangsheng almost vomited blood, because Lin Su did break the barrier light shield with a wave of his hand just now, but Su Kangsheng really couldn't figure it out. Wasn't the Xiaoxian great array known to be able to trap and kill cultivators in the god transformation stage? How could it be easily broken by Lin Su with just one claw? Boom! With a loud bang, a black fog exploded between several people. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan held up the protective air shield at the same time, but were surprised to find that the black fog had no offensiveness except blocking the line of sight and spiritual detection. Not good, these two old dogs are going to escape. Seeing that the imagined attack did not come, Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan raised their heads at the same time and shouted in unison. While screaming, Lin Su punched forward fiercely. The fierce fist wind formed a huge wind pressure that blew away the black fog instantly, revealing a scene that made Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan stunned. Su Kangsheng was also on guard like them, and did not take the opportunity to escape as they thought. What happened just now? No, something seems to be wrong? That's right. Where is Su Kangsheng? Where did Su Kangsheng go? Lin Su suddenly understood that the black fog just now was created by Su Kangsheng. The purpose was not to take advantage of the opportunity to attack, but to escape. He actually abandoned Su Kangsheng and ran away. Rightward arrow. All along, both Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan only had Su Kangsheng in their eyes. As for Su Kangsheng, he was completely dispensable. Because both Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan could easily deal with Su Kangsheng, so it took them a long time to realize that Su Kangsheng had escaped. Now it was too late to chase him. God knows where he ran to. Su Kangsheng, you are really deserted by everyone. Even your last lackey has left you. You, the master of Xiaoxian Palace, have really become a commander without troops in name only. Ha ha, ha ha ha. After a brief surprise, Lin Su laughed. Su Kangsheng ran away, so he ran away. In terms of danger, 3 Su Qiankuns are not as dangerous as 1 Su Kangsheng. As long as Su Kangsheng can be left behind, it is enough. Damn you. Don't let me catch you, or I will make you live a life worse than death. Su Kangkong's face had turned into a pot bottom. He couldn't accept that Lin Su could break the Xiaoxian formation. At this time, his only companion Su Kangsheng actually abandoned him and ran away. Su Kangkong felt that he was about to explode. Lin Su was right. He was indeed deserted by everyone now. Xiaoxian Palace was finished. Lin Su, little thief, I will fight you. With a roar of bloodshot eyes, Su Kangkong rushed towards Lin Su and punched Lin Su. Don't overestimate your own ability, Lin Su sneered. Could it be that Su Kangkong, the old ghost, was mad and actually competed with him in physical strength? He didn't dodge and punched him. Wow, Su Kangkong was even more unbearable than Lin Su had imagined. After the two fists met, he was directly beaten back 1,000 feet away, and a mouthful of old blood spurted out. No. How can this old ghost be so weak? Lin Su only used 80% of his strength in that punch just now. With Su Kangsheng's strength, he shouldn't be hit thousands of feet away by a punch. He even vomited blood. Isn't this too different from before? Just as he was wondering, he heard Zhang Yunfan shouting, Lin Zi, the old guy ran away. Lin Su looked up and saw that Su Kangsheng turned around and fled quickly into the distance, leaving only a small black dot. Lin Su suddenly realized that Su Kangsheng didn't want to fight with him, but wanted to use the force to escape. Can't let this old dog run away. Chase. As soon as he moved, Lin Su used all his strength to drive the Dragon Yuan to chase Su Kangsheng. Su Kangsheng was different from Su Kangsheng. If he escaped this time, the Spirit Beast Island and the Yama Palace would never have peace. Now Xiaoxian Palace can be said to be completely finished. It is precisely because of this that Su Kangkong no longer has any scruples. Su Qianqan may hide and practice peacefully waiting for the opportunity to enter the spirit world, but Su Kangkong will never give up revenge on Lingxiao Island and Yanluo Palace. If Su Kangkong really lets go, it will definitely be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. With the strength of this old guy, only Lin Su can suppress him in the entire Chaos Star Sea, but Lin Su can't always guard Lingxiao Island and Yanluo Palace. He will always go to the spirit world. When facing Su Kangkong's crazy revenge, what should the cultivators of Lingxiao Island and Yanluo Palace do? In any case, this old dog can't be let go at all costs. As both of them were Yuanying late-stage great perfection cultivators, although Lin Su's combat power was much stronger than Su Kangxiang's, their flying speed was almost the same. In addition, Su Kangxiang was now willing to use his own essence and blood to activate the secret method to escape. For a while, Lin Su could not catch up with him, and even had a tendency to be pulled away by him. Xiantian blood escape. After finally injuring Su Kangxiang, Lin Su would not let him escape. You have the secret method, but I don't have it. After using Xiantian blood escape, Lin Su's speed suddenly increased several times, and he kept approaching Su Kangxiang like lightning. In just half a cup of tea, he caught up with Su Kangxiang within 100 feet. Lin Su, don't go too far. Su Kangxiang glanced at Lin Su's figure behind him, and couldn't help but feel a dead soul. A strong sense of grief and indignation surged into his heart, and he roared loudly. Bullying? You are wrong, old dog. I don't want to bully you. I just want to kill you. Lin Su did not slow down at all while speaking. He quickly caught up with Su Kangxiang. With a sound of sword chirping, the 5 elements spirit sword appeared in his hand. He slashed at Su Kangxiang with a sword beam. Ah! Feeling the sense of cutting coming from behind, Su Kangxiang had to twist his body to dodge, but Lin Su's attack was angry, fast and fierce. Although Su Kangxiang avoided the vital point, his right shoulder was still hit by the sword. At this time, all his true energy was used to activate the secret method, so how could he resist the attack of the sword? He screamed and his right shoulder was broken at the root, and his forward momentum stopped immediately. Old dog, I said, you will die today. Lin Su stopped in front of Su Kangxiang, looking coldly at Su Kangxiang, who was holding his right shoulder and his face was distorted in pain, and his cold voice revealed murderous intent. Lin Su. The weakness brought by the secret technique and the severe pain of his right shoulder being cut off made Su Kangxiang's face become extremely ferocious. He roared softly like a dying beast, full of resentment and unwillingness. I hate it. I didn't kill you at all costs, which led to today's disaster. Su Kangxiang had 2 chances to kill Lin Su. One was when he first chased Lin Su, and the other was at the wedding of Lin Su and Ye Ping'er and Len Lingyu. However, Su Kangxiang retreated in the end both times because he always felt that Lin Su's life was not worth getting hurt. If he had known that this day would come, he would definitely kill Lin Su even if he was injured and spent hundreds of years of cultivation. However, as I said, there is no regret medicine in this world. Dian 5 elements sword formation, strangle. Lin Su didn't want to waste time talking to Su Kangkong. After a cold snort, he launched a killing move. The 5 elements of spiritual swords came out together to form the Dian 5 elements sword formation to surround Su Kangkong in it, and directly launched the sword formation's killing move. Little bastard, even if I die, I will drag you to be buried with me. Die with me. Ha ha ha. Su Kangkong was already seriously injured and couldn't resist the strangulation of the sword formation at all. Soon there was no good meat on his body. Suddenly, Su Kangkong gave up all resistance, and his whole body's aura suddenly rose. His body also suddenly expanded. With a crazy laugh, a destructive force burst out from his Dantian. It's a self-explosion. Not good. Lin Su's pupils shrank suddenly. The power of a cultivator in the late Yuanying stage of great perfection self-explosion is equivalent to the full force of a cultivator in the middle stage of Huashan. It is definitely not something he can bear now. It's bad. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 276. A huge mushroom cloud bloomed in the air, and the surging energy shot out in all directions. Zhang Yunfan, who was rushing towards the side, was directly blown away by the air wave. He turned several miles away before he stabilized his body. Although he was not injured, he was shocked. He was several miles away from the explosion site and could feel such energy fluctuations. What would happen to Lin Su, who was at the center of the explosion? The self-detonation of a top master in the late Yuanying Great Perfection realm would be absolutely devastating in the current human world. The smoke and dust dissipated, and there was not even a trace of cloud in the sky for dozens of miles. They were all annihilated by the destructive explosion just now. A huge bottomless pit on the ground, with a wisp of black smoke, was completely a dead place. Linzi! Linzi! Zhang Yunfan's eyes suddenly turned red, and he screamed in grief. He didn't dare to imagine how he would explain to Zizuir and the other girls if something happened to Lin Su. What are you yelling about? I'm not dead yet, a familiar voice sounded, and Lin Su appeared out of thin air beside Zhang Yunfan, looking at Zhang Yunfan with a smile on his face. Linzi, are you okay? I was scared to death. If something really happened to you, I really don't know how to explain it to my brothers and sisters. Zhang Yunfan hugged Lin Su in surprise, patting Lin Su's back vigorously, and his voice trembled a little. I didn't expect that you care about me so much, Yunfan. He, Lin Su smiled, and there was a touch of emotion in his eyes. Don't worry, what can happen to me? Don't forget that I can hide in the spiritual field space at any time. Although he said it didn't matter, Lin Su was still a little scared in his heart. He really didn't expect that the old ghost Xianxia would choose to self-destruct. This is the end of never reincarnating. Fortunately, there was a spiritual field space, a heaven-defying shelter, and Lin Su escaped into it in time to avoid the impact of the explosion. Otherwise, even if he had a strong body with the body of a real dragon, he would probably become slag under the impact of this level of energy. Yes. You have a spiritual field space, you can enter it at any time to hide. Look at my brain, Zhang Yunfan slapped his forehead. He was just too concerned and didn't think about Lin Su's spiritual field space. By the way, Linzi, Xianxia ran away. Do you want to continue to track him down? Xianxia was dead, and all the other cultivators of Xiangshan Palace were buried in the Xiangshan formation, leaving only the escaped Xianxia. Of course we have to track him down. Send disciples to find out the whereabouts of Xianxia when we go back. If you don't cut the grass at the root, it will grow again in the spring breeze. Although Xianxia's harm is far less than Xianxia, but with the hatred of the extermination of the family, who knows if the old guy will be stimulated to retaliate crazily. The Xiangshan Palace has been destroyed. All that remains is to track down the whereabouts of the escaped Xianxia. There is really nothing to do before that. It is time to go back. No. Wait, it seems that I have forgotten something important. What is it? Lin Su, who was about to leave, suddenly stopped, and Zhang Yunfan looked puzzled. Lin, what's wrong with you? Lin Su was still stunned in the same place, frowning and motionless, as if he didn't hear Zhang Yunfan's words. Seeing this, Zhang Yunfan's heart clicked, thinking that it was bad. This Lin Zi was not dodging the explosion just now, and his head was hit. If he was hit stupidly, it would be troublesome. I thought of it, Lin Su suddenly screamed and interrupted Zhang Yunfan's sad reverie. Looking at Zhang Yunfan, who was looking at him with a face full of grief and sympathy, Lin Su frowned with some disdain. Why are you looking at me like this? Linzi, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me, Zhang Yunfan put his face close to Lin Su, looked up and down, and looked worried. Go away, brother, I'm fine. I just thought of something. Lin Su pushed Zhang Yunfan away. It was really not a comfortable thing to be looked at like this. Linzi, your head is not injured. Then I feel relieved. Zhang Yunfan breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked curiously, what did you think of? Faced with Zhang Yunfan's inquiry, Lin Su did not answer, but smiled mysteriously, turned around and flew towards the main hall of Xianxia Palace, leaving only one sentence, come up and you will know. Zhang Yunfan rolled his eyes and followed him in a flash. Linzi was really too much, and he was still keeping it a secret. However, Zhang Yunfan was really curious. Something that could make Lin Su lose his composure must be very complicated. Lin Su's purpose was simple. He wanted to take over the main hall of Xianxia Palace. In fact, Lin Su didn't have this idea at the beginning. Although Xianxia launched the Xianxia formation, Lin Su didn't know that this formation was originally attached to the main hall of Xianxia Palace, and he didn't know that the main hall of Xianxia Palace itself was a top-grade spiritual treasure. If it weren't for what Tyrant Bear King mentioned when he avoided the self-explosion and entered the spiritual field space just now, Lin Su would have almost missed such an incredible treasure. Rightward arrow. Lin Zi, are you saying that this entire palace is a top-grade spiritual treasure? In front of the blood pool in the backyard of Huangsu Pavilion, the main hall of Xianxia Palace, Zhang Yunfan looked at Lin Su blankly, a little bit unbelieving his ears. The formation barrier was broken, and the balance of the formation was interrupted. In addition, without Xianxia's stimulation, the formation had lost its energy supply and had long stopped. The blood mist in the sky had long disappeared without a trace, and everything was normal in the entire hall. There was no sign that this place had been a Shura hell before. To be precise, the Huangsu Pavilion Palace in front of us is a top-grade spiritual treasure. Lin Su nodded with a smile. He is not strong enough now, and his vision is not broad enough. He can't see that this is a top-grade spiritual treasure, but it doesn't matter. He can't see it, but Tyrant Bear King can see it. Otherwise, how can we say that an old man in the family is like a treasure? And this old man is an old immortal. The main hall of Xianxia Palace is a top-grade spiritual treasure, but it doesn't mean that the whole palace is. The real spiritual treasure is only a palace here in Huangsu Pavilion, and the others are built relying on Huangsu Pavilion. It is precisely because of this that Huangsu Pavilion will become the main hall and the place where the hall master lives. It is also because the Huangsu Pavilion Palace itself is a top-grade spiritual treasure, so it can absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth as power without any external support. It is suspended above this high sky. The top-grade spiritual treasure is different from the upper-grade spiritual treasure. It cannot be collected without a certain level of cultivation. This is very similar to the immortal weapon, so Xianxia can only sacrifice a large number of Xianxia Palace monks for blood sacrifice to activate the formation. There are some legends circulating in the world of immortal cultivation, that someone accidentally got a fairy weapon, and immediately turned over a new leaf and became invincible, and his cultivation level soared all the way to become an immortal easily. Lin Su used to believe in such legends and was quite envious, but now he knows that this is pure bullshit. Let alone the top-grade spiritual treasure in front of him, he can't refine it now, let alone a fairy weapon of a higher level and more stringent refining conditions. If you want to refine a fairy weapon, you must at least reach the stage of crossing the tribulation and have immortal essence produced in your body. So, legends can't be believed, only we chat. Look at it with a critical eye, just like now, Lin Su is looking at the palace in front of him with a critical eye. No, it's a top-grade spiritual treasure. Xianxia couldn't refine this top-grade spiritual treasure. Lin Su's cultivation was equal to Xianxia. Apart from his combat power, he was not much better in other aspects, so he naturally couldn't refine it. But just leaving such a treasure here? This is not okay. If you encounter a treasure and don't pick it up, you will be punished by heaven. Senior Bear King, this treasure is too advanced. I can't refine it with my current ability. Can you teach me what I should do? Ask if you don't understand, and make full use of the resources in your hands. This is a truth summed up by Lin Su's experience over the years. It would be too sorry for yourself if you don't make good use of such a living treasure house as Tyrant Bear King. So after trying several times and finding that he couldn't do anything with this top-grade spiritual treasure, Lin Su decisively entered the spiritual field space to ask Tyrant Bear King for advice. If you can't refine it slowly. Why are you in a hurry? Tyrant Bear King turned over in the bear den, glanced at Lin Su and said indifferently. Senior Bear King, what do you mean? Lin Su's eyes lit up. Don't you understand? Tyrant Bear King muttered, then turned over and continued to sleep. Although Tyrant Bear King didn't say it clearly, Lin Su already understood what he meant. With the spiritual field space, nothing is impossible. Since it can't be refined now, then put it into the spiritual field space and refine it slowly. When my cultivation level is improved, there will always be a way to refine this top-grade spiritual treasure. Coming out of the spiritual field space, Lin Su smiled at Zhang Yunfan's inquiring eyes, and a 5-element spiritual sword appeared in his hand, slashing fiercely at the edge of Huangsu Pavilion. The huge sword light fell on the ground, and the ground broke like paper. After dozens of sword lights, except for Huangsu Pavilion, which was still suspended in the air, the palace that was cut down and the huge rock all fell downwards. This is also normal. Originally, the other palaces relied on Huangsu Pavilion to float in the sky. Now they will naturally fall after being separated from Huangsu Pavilion. Seeing the magnificent palaces turned into ruins and fell into dust, to be honest, Lin Su still felt a little regretful. It was a pity that his current strength was really limited. It was impossible to move the entire main hall of Xuetian Palace into the linked yen space. It was already a stretch to move Huangsu Pavilion in. Except for Huangsu Pavilion, all the palaces had been cut down to the ground. Lin Su released the world power of the linked yen space to wrap Xuangsu Pavilion. With the thought of collect, the entire Xuangsu Pavilion was collected into the linked yen space, and Lin Su's figure was also a stagger, and he almost fell from the air. Fortunately, Zhang Yunfan was next to him and supported him when he saw that the situation was not right. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 277. Linzi, are you okay? Zhang Yunfan looked at Lin Su, who was pale, and became anxious. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. It's okay. It's just that the consumption is too great. It will be fine after a while. Lin Su took a deep breath and stabilized his body. He secretly said that it was a close call. Although he successfully put Huangsu Pavilion into the linked yen space, he consumed a lot of world power and almost exhausted his soul power. He was a little drowsy and just wanted to have a good sleep. It seems that although the linked yen space can collect objects, the size and quality of the collected objects are also limited. The larger and heavier the objects are, the more world power and soul power they consume when they are collected. Fortunately, Huangsu Pavilion was just collected. Fortunately, Zhang Yunfan was beside him, otherwise he would have become a 5-clawed golden dragon that fell to death. Yunfan, I have to go into the spiritual field space to recover. I will attach the spiritual field space to you. You take me back to Yanluo City. The groggy feeling in his head became stronger and stronger. Lin Su knew that he could not hold on any longer. The excessive consumption of Yuan Shen power could not be replenished by running the exercises a few times. After telling Zhang Yunfan, Lin Su entered the spiritual field space and turned the space exit into a dust-like particle and attached it to Zhang Yunfan. Then, there was no more, because Lin Su had fainted. Zhang Yunfan went back with a lot of worries. Lin Su said that he would attach the entrance to the spiritual field space to himself, so it should be right. Yunfan, why are you the only one back? Where is your husband? Didn't your husband have an accident? Lin Su went out with Zhang Yunfan, and now only Zhang Yunfan came back alone, and Zhang Yunfan's face was not very good, which made Zizuir and the other girls feel anxious all of a sudden. It's okay, Lin Zi is fine, he's in the Lingtian space. The people present were all close to Lin Su, and they had long known about the existence of the Lingtian space. Zhang Yunfan didn't hide it. He knew there was a misunderstanding when he saw everyone's faces, and hurried to explain. He explained the trip to the Xianxia palace in relatively short words, and everyone's jaws almost dropped. The Xianxia palace was destroyed. Except for Su Qinqin, who escaped, all the people in the Xianxia palace died. Even the master of the Xianxia palace, Su Kangxian, blew himself up. Everyone felt mixed emotions. The Xianxia palace, which had been suffocating the Spirit Beast Island and the Yama palace, disappeared just like that. This really sounded like a dream. Lin Su was now recovering in the Lingtian space and could not be contacted, so Zhang Yunfan became the focus of everyone's attention. There was admiration and worship in his eyes, but more of a sour and resentful feeling, especially the bald man. The resentful eyes were so strong that Zhang Yunfan had the urge to flee. What a loss! I should have gone with you guys. I've lost a lot this time. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan are definitely not the only militants. The bald man Tian Yuan is also a real militant. He has been preparing for a decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace for many years. He originally thought that Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan were just going to check the strength of the Void Heavenly Palace, but he didn't expect that the two of them would directly destroy the Void Heavenly Palace. Now where is the chance for Tian Yuan to take action? What a loss, what a loss. Facing the bald man's resentful eyes of "you stole my limelight," Zhang Yunfan could only laugh dryly, and envied Lin Su, who was in the spiritual field space at the moment. I don't know what happened to my husband, let's go into the spiritual field space to see. Lin Su was sleeping in the spiritual field space and couldn't be contacted, but Zizuir and the other women still had other ways. After the crowd retreated and only Zizuir and the other women, Zhang Yunfan and the bald man Tian Yuan were left, Zizuir contacted the Earth Spirit Pig. The Earth Spirit Pig is Lin Su's equal contract partner, and it has already merged with the original power of the Lingtian space to a certain extent, so it is not a problem to bring a few people in and out of the Lingtian space. Zizuir squeezed a 5-color bead in her hand. This is a bead condensed by the Earth Spirit Pig with its original power. Zizuir and the 3 girls each have one, which can be used to contact it. Even if the Earth Spirit Pig is sleeping in the Lingtian space, it can sense it as long as the 5-color bead is squeezed. The 5-color light flashed, and the Earth Spirit Pig came out of the Lingtian space. Sisters, what are you so anxious to find me for? Although the Earth Spirit Pig gave the 5-color bead to Zizuir and the other 2, this was the first time Zizuir used it. Usually, Lin Su contacted it. Xiao Tu, how is my husband? Zizuir said anxiously. Oh, big brother. He's fine, but he's in hibernation because his soul power has been depleted too much. He'll wake up when he's had enough sleep and his soul power has recovered. As Lin Su's contracted spirit beast, the Earth Spirit Pig naturally sensed Lin Su's condition and comforted him. Take us into the spiritual field space. Oh, okay. Seeing that the women were still anxious and worried, the Earth Spirit Pig didn't waste any words and used a little of the world power of the spiritual field space to absorb the few people into the spiritual field space. Big Brother is in that palace. Lin Su fainted as soon as he entered the spiritual field space, which scared the Earth Spirit Pig. However, after sensing it, the Earth Spirit Pig found that Lin Su was just overexhausted and nothing serious happened, so he was relieved. Hibernation is a good way to restore the power of the soul. Let Lin Su sleep and he will be fine, so the earth spirit pig moved Lin Su to the bed in the Huangsu pavilion. Sleeping here is much more comfortable than lying on the ground, although Lin Su in deep hibernation can't feel it at all. Is this palace the top-grade spiritual treasure that Yunfan said? Several women rushed into the Huangsu pavilion and saw Lin Su sleeping peacefully on the bed. They were completely relieved. This relaxation naturally began to pay attention to other things, such as the top-grade spiritual treasure in the Huangsu pavilion. Well, this is what Senior Bear King said. Lin Zi's cultivation is not enough now and he can't refine it, so he put it here and wait until he is stronger in the future to refine it. Zhang Yunfan nodded and said with some envy. Top-grade spiritual treasure. If it can be refined, it will definitely increase your strength. However, only a pervert like Lin Su who has a spiritual field space can refine it. Others, including himself, can only envy him. I never thought that Xiushan Palace actually has such a treasure as a top-grade spiritual treasure. Fortunately, Lin Zi and Yunfan went to investigate in advance, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. After a burst of envy, the bald man couldn't help but feel scared. The formation launched by the top-grade spiritual treasure is not something that the current human world cultivators can resist. If Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan hadn't gone to investigate in advance and didn't let Su Kangshan prepare the formation completely, they would have been killed by others when they led a large group of people to attack. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 278. The loss of the power of the Yuan Shen needs to be recovered slowly. Lin Su can't wake up for a while. After visiting the Huangsu pavilion inside and out, the women left the linked yen space with satisfaction. Even the Jade Rakshasa Shen Baiun was dragged out by Yeping Er. Anyway, Yanluo City is under the sea. The lighting depends on the night pearl and the formation. There is no sunlight all year round. It doesn't matter. Besides, the Jade Rakshasa has begun to change from yin to yang, and is not so afraid of sunlight. Zhang Yunfan and the bald man extorted 2 5-color beads from the Earth Spirit Pig. Originally, the Earth Spirit Pig didn't want to give it, but couldn't resist the two peoples, one playing the good cop and the other playing the bad cop. Under the coercion and temptation, the Earth Spirit Pig had to compromise. With a sad face, it condensed 3 more 5-color beads. Of course, 2 were given to the 2 robbers, Zhang Yunfan and the bald man, and the remaining 1 was given to the Jade Rakshasa Shen Baiun. Dare not give it? This lady is a real ruthless person. With the terrifying strength of the middle stage of the tribulation, if she really gets angry, 10 Earth Spirit Pigs will not be enough to twist her. Lin Su was in hibernation to recover from his injuries. Zizuir and the other girls were playing around in the Chaos Star Sea, and Zhang Yunfan followed behind Yuluasha Shen Baiun happily, claiming to be a flower protector but actually looking for an opportunity to take advantage of her. Think about it, with Yuluasha's cultivation and combat power and her ruthlessness, anyone who dares to provoke her in the Chaos Star Sea will definitely not see the sun the next day, so why would Zhang Yunfan be needed to protect her? Once the Xiushan Palace was destroyed, except for Su Qianqian who fled, the rest of the people died cleanly. This explosive news spread throughout the Chaos Star Sea at an astonishing speed. Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan's names were immediately known to everyone. They were recognized as the first and second masters of the Chaos Star Sea. Zhang Yunfan was so happy that his face was full of joy all day long, with a look of "I am a master" on his face. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. The news of the wanted Su Qianqian has already spread. Not only the cultivators of the Spirit Beast Island and the Yama Palace are chasing Su Qianqian's whereabouts, but other forces and even independent cultivators are also paying attention to Su Qianqian's whereabouts. For a while, Su Kangkong became a rat crossing the street and everyone wanted to kill him. He was also the kind of rat that hid in the dark and dared not show up. Lin Su slept for a full 50 years. If it weren't for the tyrant Bear King saying that Lin Su was fine and was just practicing in his sleep, Zizuir and the other girls would have exploded. Lin Su didn't expect that he would sleep for so long. As for the lost Yuan Shen power, he recovered in just half a year, and even improved it, but the strange thing is that he just couldn't wake up. That's right, Lin Su knew that he was sleeping, and he could feel the recovery and growth of his soul power, and even the surrounding situation. Lin Su even knew what Zhuir and the others said every time they came to see him, but he just couldn't wake up, as if he had lost control of his body. It was indeed strange, but it was not that Lin Su couldn't wake up, but another more bizarre thing, that is, the only pond in the spiritual field space was shrinking, because the water in the pond seemed to be attracted by an invisible force and turned into a very thin stream that slowly spread to the Huangsu Pavilion and injected into Lin Su's body from the top of his head. This pond water was the spiritual liquid that Lin Su got from the god and demon space back then. Originally, there was not so much, only a shallow handful, and it seemed that it had also grown with the evolution of the spiritual field space, and it turned into a pond. However, the amount of the spirit liquid in the pond is decreasing at a constant rate. The spirit liquid that is enough to drive any nascent soul cultivator crazy is constantly being injected into Lin Su's body, nourishing his body and soul, and filling up the invisible gap between the nascent soul and the spiritualization stages. This kid is so lucky. He can absorb the spirit liquid so perfectly in his sleep. This blessing is really enviable. When Zhuir and others entered the spiritual field space again to visit Lin Su and were shocked by this scene, Tyrant Bear King sighed, and everyone's ears immediately stood up. Senior Bear King, you said that this pool of water is the spirit liquid. The bald man Tianyuan suspected that there was something wrong with his hearing. Yes, it is the spirit liquid. Tyrant Bear King nodded affirmatively, lowered his head and continued to eat the food that Zhuir and others gave him. Several people were all upset, and their eyes looking at the pool water all turned into wolf-like green and dark lights, especially the bald man Tianyuan, whose saliva was about to flow down. This is the spirit liquid of transformation, which is the spirit liquid of transformation that every Yuanying stage cultivator dreams of. The bald man had heard Yan Luo Tianzi mention it more than once, that if he could get a bottle of spirit liquid of transformation, he would have the hope of breaking through to the God stage even if he did not go to the spirit world. The reason is simple, this spirit liquid of transformation contains a large amount of soul essence spiritual power, which is an indispensable medium for breaking through from the Yuanying stage to the God stage. Of course, the soul essence spiritual power contained in the spirit liquid of transformation is not easy to absorb, and it takes a lot of time to slowly refine it, but for the bald man, Zhuir and others, the least lacking thing is time. Several people are talented, and they have cultivated to the middle stage of Yuanying at a young age. They are not too far away from the great perfection of the late Yuanying stage, and their lifespan is still long. I'm so humming blind, the bald man couldn't help but burst out with a swear word. He has been in the spiritual field space for so long, and it is not the first time he has seen this pond, but he has never imagined that the water in this pool is actually the extremely precious spiritual liquid. In fact, it was not just the bald man, Zhuir and the other girls felt the same way. Someone suddenly whispered, with so much spiritual liquid, it shouldn't be too much for us to collect a little bit, right? Not too much, too much. With so much spiritual liquid, isn't it normal for everyone to collect a little bit? Lin Su, who was sleeping, was ignored by everyone. It is better to share happiness with others than to enjoy it alone. Good things are for everyone to have a share. If one person eats alone, he will be punished by God. They are all lovers and friends, and they have the obligation to help Lin Su correct this bad habit of eating alone. After everyone comforted themselves in this way, they all felt at ease. They took out the jade bottles one by one and filled them up one by one. Anyway, there was such a big pool, how much could these few people put in? Lin Su knew nothing about this. From the moment the spirit liquid began to merge into his body, he lost his perception of the outside world. He was half asleep and half awake. When he was half awake, he felt like he had turned into tiny particles. He watched every inch of his flesh and blood transform and sublimate under the spirit liquid, and felt that his soul was getting stronger little by little. It was very wonderful. 50 years later, Lin Su woke up, and it was the feeling of regaining control of his body again. Realizing that he could control his body, Lin Su opened his eyes impatiently and sat up. The first feeling was that he had become stronger. That's right, he had become stronger. It was as if a beast with the power to destroy the world had lived in his body. Every inch of flesh and blood contained explosive power. Lin Su even had a powerful feeling that he could crush the space with his hand. Of course, he knew that this was just his illusion, an illusion caused by his unfamiliarity with the new power after he had been asleep for many years and suddenly regained control of his body. But one thing Lin Su was sure of was that he could now easily smash his past self into pieces with one punch. He had broken through from the nascent soul stage to the spiritual transformation stage. Not the half-step spiritual transformation stage between the nascent soul stage and the spiritual transformation stage, but the real spiritual transformation stage. A faint sense of oppression lingered in his heart. Lin Su was very familiar with this feeling. This was a sign before the arrival of the heavenly tribulation, the 6-9 heavenly tribulation. Whether it was a cultivator or a monster, when they broke through to the spiritual transformation stage, they would encounter the godly transformation thunder tribulation, which is commonly known as the 6-9 heavenly tribulation. The reason why the heavenly tribulation did not come now was just because Lin Su was in the spiritual field space. Lin Su was almost certain that as long as he stepped out of the spiritual field space, the 6-9 heavenly tribulation would come immediately. "Husband, are you awake?" As soon as Lin Su walked out of the Huangsu pavilion, he attracted the attention of Zhuir and several other girls, and they all surrounded him excitedly. This breath. "Lin Zi, you broke through." Zhang Yunfan was the strongest among the crowd. He was already at the peak of the middle stage of the nascent soul. After obtaining the spiritual liquid, he practiced even harder. Now he has reached the late stage of the nascent soul. He thought he could finally catch up with Lin Su, but now he felt a strong sense of oppression when standing in front of Lin Su. Lin Su's cultivation must have surpassed the late stage of the nascent soul to make Zhang Yunfan feel oppressive. It was just luck, Lin Su smiled slightly. He was not lying. It was indeed luck. He broke through to the spiritual transformation stage after waking up from a coma for 50 years. He was probably the easiest person to break through the spiritual transformation stage in history, right? Luck. Everyone was speechless. It was really annoying to compare people. He broke through to the spiritual transformation stage directly after sleeping. How could they, who practiced hard but did not improve much, feel embarrassed? By the way, how long have I been sleeping? Although they were a little speechless, they were still very happy that Lin Su had broken through to the spiritualization stage. Lin Su himself was also very excited, but he was more concerned about how long he had been sleeping. In the past, no matter how long he had practiced, Lin Su at least knew how long he had been practicing, but this time was different. Lin Su completely lost control of his body and naturally had no sense of the passage of time in the outside world. However, there was one thing he was sure of, that he had definitely slept for a long time. It was of course a very happy thing to be able to break through in cultivation, but before he fell into a deep sleep, there were only less than 50 years before the arrival of the heavenly spirit realm. If he missed the time to enter the heavenly spirit realm because of his sleep, it would be miserable. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 279. My husband, you have been asleep for 50 years, Ye Ping replied. 50 years? It's really not a short time. Has the heavenly spirit realm already descended? Lin Su asked. Not yet, the heavenly spirit realm does descend once every 500 years, but it is not certain how many 500 years it is. 501 years is 500 years, and 600 or 700 years is also more than 500 years. So far, there is no sign of the heavenly spirit realm descending. It turns out that the heavenly spirit realm has not descended into the human world yet. Fortunately, it didn't miss the opportunity. Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief. If he missed the heavenly spirit realm's descent this time, he would have to wait for another 500 years. 500 years, Lin Su can wait, Zai Zuir and others can wait, but Zai Yang Patriarch can't wait. But fortunately, the heavenly spirit realm has not descended yet, and there is still a chance. By the way, nothing happened in the 50 years I was asleep, right? Did you find Sukinkan? Lin Su asked. Sukinkan? You mean that unlucky old ghost? He was killed by me, your brother. Zhang Yunfan laughed, feeling quite proud. Wasn't Sukinkan killed by Sister Shen? When did it become you, Yunfan, who killed him? The bald man's words froze Zhang Yunfan's expression, and he felt a little embarrassed and angry. What happened? Lin Su was a little confused. Everyone talked about it, and Lin Su finally understood the true story. Speaking of which, Sukinkan was really unlucky. Originally, with his cultivation and strength, Zhang Yunfan and the bald man Tianyuan were stronger than him, except for Lin Su. However, if he wanted to escape, Zhang Yunfan and the bald man would not be able to stop him. It's a pity that this old guy didn't have eyes, and he actually offended the Jade Rakshasa Shen Baiun. This is what happened. After Lin Su fell asleep, because the crisis of Xiushan Palace had been resolved, Zai Zuir and other women all participated in the reconstruction of the Spirit Beast Island. Zhang Yunfan even showed his courtesy to Shen Baiun under the name of accompanying her on a tour. They toured around the Chaos Star Sea and ran into Sukinkan. Originally, Sukinkan had used magic to change his appearance. Zhang Yunfan had not yet broken through to the late nascent soul stage and did not see it. But who knows if this old guy Sukinkan had a brain injury or something. He actually fell in love with Shen Baiun and flirted with her recklessly, and the result was a decisive tragedy. Who is Shen Baiun? She is a top master in the middle stage of the Tribulation Crossing. It was only after she followed Lin Su that her temper became more restrained. When she was in the ghost world, she was a ghost seeing level 1. The title of Jade Rakshasa was not for nothing. Sukinkan, the old man, was a sex-hungry ghost. When Xiushan Temple was still there were many female cultivators serving him. Now that Xiushan Temple was destroyed, he himself became a street rat. He even had to hide his appearance for fear of being discovered. Naturally, he was very stifled. Sukinkan didn't like ordinary goods. When he met Shen Baiun by chance, the old man's lust exploded. Shen Baiun was known as the Jade Rakshasa. Naturally, she was born with a beautiful face. In addition, she had reached the point where the yin was extreme and the yang was born. When she didn't show her aura, she looked no different from an ordinary cultivator. It happened that Zhang Yunfan was not around because he went to buy things for Shen Baiun. The ignorant and fearless Sukinkan approached her without knowing whether to live or die. Rightward arrow. As a result, the imagined little white sheep suddenly turned into a big monster. Shen Baiun slapped Sukinkan away with a slap, and broke his magic of changing his appearance. Zhang Yunfan, who was carrying things back, bumped into her and beat her up. Zhang Yunfan's fighting power was originally above Sukinkan, and Sukinkan had been injured by Shen Baiun, so he couldn't even run away. After a beating that made everyone cry, Zhang Yunfan sealed his Dantian Zhenyuan and carried him back to Lingshao Island. When the disciples of Lingshao Island saw Sukinkan, their eyes suddenly turned red. When Lingshao Island was breached, Many disciples of Lingxiao Island died tragically at the hands of this old man. The disciples of Lingxiao Island wanted to pull out his tendons, peel off his skin, knock out his bones and eat his meat. Su Kinkan's end was indeed very miserable. He was sacrificed alive in front of the tombstones of the disciples who died on Lingxiao Island. His body and soul were tortured and finally turned to ashes. With Su Kinkan's death, Xiaoshan Palace was completely history. At this time, everyone learned about the existence of the spirit liquid from the tyrant Bear King. Including Zhang Yunfan and the bald man Tian Yuan, they all entered the Lingtian space to practice in seclusion until Lin Su woke up. With the help of the spiritual liquid, everyone's cultivation progressed very quickly. Zhang Yunfan, who had the highest talent, had already reached the state of late nascent soul great perfection, and had accumulated a lot of soul essence and spiritual power in his body. After refining and thoroughly absorbing it, it was very likely that he would break through to the spiritual stage. The bald man Tian Yuan had also reached the late nascent soul, and was only a step away from the great perfection. The three girls of Zizuir had also reached the peak of the middle nascent soul, and could break through at any time. As for the Xiang patriarch, although he had also taken a lot of spiritual liquid, his cultivation did not improve much. Like Zhang Yunfan, he was at the late nascent soul great perfection. It would be difficult for him to break through to the spiritual stage by relying on the spiritual liquid alone. However, as long as he could go to the spirit realm, he would still have a good chance of breaking through. After all, the soul essence and spiritual power in the spiritual energy of the spirit realm was much more than that contained in the spiritual liquid, and it was also easier to refine and absorb. Although there will be no heavenly tribulation in the spiritual field space, it is a matter of time for Lin Su. As the saying goes, it is better to do it sooner rather than later. After understanding what happened during his sleep for 50 years, Lin Su left the spiritual field space and prepared to survive the 6-9 heavenly tribulation. There has been no cultivator in the spirit transformation stage in the human world for thousands of years, so naturally no one has seen what the 6-9 heavenly tribulation looks like. Everyone is quite curious, but everyone also knows that the 6-9 heavenly tribulation is not the same as the 49 heavenly tribulation. If one is not careful and is involved in it, he will definitely be chopped to pieces. So Lin Su suppressed his breath and left Yanluo city, and found a deserted island with few people to survive the tribulation. Not many people know that Lin Su needs to survive the tribulation to break through. In addition to Zizuir and the other girls, there are only Zhang Yunfan, Xiang Patriarch, and the bald man Tian Yuan. All of Lin Su's secrets have been told to them, and there is nothing to hide, so he directly reveals the 5-clawed golden dragon body to survive the tribulation. After evolving into a 5-clawed golden dragon, this was the first time that Lin Su revealed his golden dragon form in front of Zizuir and the others. He looked extremely majestic and imposing, and everyone's eyes were shining in amazement. Even Patriarch Zi Yang was quite envious of Lin Su. Possessing the body of a monster and the soul of a human cultivator at the same time could be regarded as combining the best of both. What's more, the dragon clan is the royal family among monsters, and the 5-clawed golden dragon is even more the royal family among dragons. With the combination of the two, it is no wonder that Lin Su has such abnormal combat power. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 280. Whether it is the 49 heavenly tribulation or the 69th heavenly tribulation, there are actually only 9 tribulation thunders in total, but their power is very different. Fortunately, Lin Su can be regarded as a professional in overcoming tribulations. Even the Xiun thunder tribulation, we have all encountered it before, and now this ordinary black cloud thunder disaster is nothing at all. Even after suffering a calamity thunder, Lin Su felt that the power of the 69 calamities was not even comparable to the purple cloud thunder calamity when he transformed into a dragon. With his current physical strength, he could completely withstand it and survive. It's not strenuous. In other words, the 69 heavenly tribulations that everyone talks about are completely for Lin Su to provide energy for tempering his body. Seeing that Lin Su didn't take any precautions at all, and just let the calamity thunder hit him directly, with a look of relief on his face, everyone was speechless, especially in the end. Lin Su simply opened his mouth wide and struck down. Ji was swallowed directly, which made everyone's jaws drop. Pervert. Lin Zi is such a pervert. Even if he has a dragon body, he is not so strong, right? That was Ji, and he was swallowed by him. Zhang Yunfan's eyes were dull as he looked at Lin Su, who was devouring Ji. There is a feeling that one person is more likely to die than another. If I had known, I wouldn't have come to see Lin Zi to overcome the tribulation. It's really shocking. This was the lament of the bald man Tian Yuan. My husband is so powerful. He can even swallow up the heavenly calamity, he is so powerful. This was Ye Ping'er's admiration. Such a powerful God transformation thunder tribulation. If it hits us, a bolt of thunder will be enough to turn us into flying ash. My husband can actually swallow it directly. The God transformation stage is really powerful. Zui'er's eyes were full of brilliance. Lin Su was so powerful that he was surprised. On the other hand, he was also very eager for the divine transformation stage. This brat has transformed into a god so quickly and doesn't know how to restrain himself. Ancestor Xiang had an expression of envy and hatred on his face. In the eyes of everyone who either worshipped or envied, the 9 tribulation thunders ended, the tribulation clouds in the sky quickly dispersed, and the 69 tribulations were over. Lin Su changed back into his human form, put on his clothes and flew in front of everyone. Everyone suddenly felt a strong pressure coming towards them, and their hands and feet felt weak. Lin Su also noticed that something was wrong, and hurriedly controlled his aura with all his strength. It's getting better. Sorry, this power grew too fast and I couldn't control it for a moment. Lin Su scratched his head in embarrassment. He had just overcome the catastrophe, and his physical body and dragon essence had increased a lot, and his aura was rippling for a while. Lin Zi, you are now the only master of the God transformation stage in the human world for thousands of years. It's really enviable. Tell me, what are the differences between the God transformation stage and the nascent soul stage? Zhang Yunfan asked, and the rest of the people also reacted with joy after hearing this. A curious look on his face. How should I put it? It seems that in addition to the greatly increased physical strength and true energy, there is also an additional understanding. The understanding of the great way of heaven and earth. The biggest change is that I can now directly mobilize the surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth to activate spells, and consume my own energy. Not much. Lin Su closed his eyes and sensed it for a while before saying, in fact, this is the biggest difference between the divine transformation stage and the nascent soul stage. Before the divine transformation stage, it is more about the accumulation of energy, physical energy, true energy, and Yuan Shen energy. The accumulation, but it is different from the beginning of the God transformation stage. You need to understand the great ways of heaven and earth and form your own way. The most direct change is that you can directly use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to launch powerful moves without spending your own true energy. Therefore, monks in the God transformation stage often, a single move can turn the world upside down, and the power is astonishing, far beyond what a monk in the nascent soul stage can match. Lin Su demonstrated, directly calling the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to gather the sea water to form a huge fist, and smashed it towards the sea surface, forming a tsunami with a height of tens of feet. The power was no less astonishing than the full strength of Zhang Yunfan and others. This was Lin Su's casual attack. Everyone could feel that Lin Su's own aura had not changed at all. The stage of transforming into gods, this is the stage of transforming into gods. Transforming into gods in one step makes a huge difference. Everyone was stunned by this scene, especially Zhang Yunfan, the bald man Tian Yuan and the ancestor Xiang, who had already reached the level of Yuan. People who are in the Dzogchen state of infancy feel particularly strongly. Lin Su's fighting power has always been very strong. It can be said that he is at the same level. Zhang Yunfan thinks that with all his cards now, he is still not as good as before Lin Su fell asleep, but he can still fight. But facing today Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan, who have entered the stage of becoming gods, can't even think of comparing themselves. Without him, the gap is really too big. Monks in the nascent soul stage use their own power, but monks in the transformation stage use the power of the entire world. Of course, how much they use varies from person to person, but there is no doubt that the power of heaven and earth far exceeds personal power. With Lin Su as the representative, everyone was even more yearning for the God transformation stage. They all stayed in the spirit field space to practice hard, but they kicked Lin Su out, saying that Lin Su had reached the God transformation stage. There's not much use in practicing anymore. It's better to stay outside to sense when the heavenly spirit world will come, so as not to miss it. The reason was very good, and Lin Su couldn't refute it. He left the LinkedIn space honestly. He didn't know that this was just an excuse. The real reason was that everyone had transformed the spirit in the LinkedIn space without Lin Su's consent. He divided the liquid into a small half, just because he was afraid that Lin Su would find out. In fact, Lin Su already knew about this matter. Although he has lost his perception of the outside world, don't forget that there is also the earth spirit pig. As Lin Su's contracted spirit beast, the earth spirit pig will naturally not hide it. But Lin Su didn't point it out. They are all lovers and friends, and it is right to share the benefits with everyone. What's more, he has now broken through to the early stage of divine transformation and no longer needs the spirit transformation fluid. In this way, except for Lin Su, Zhang Yunfan, Zizuer, and others were practicing in seclusion in the spirit field space, absorbing the spirit transformation liquid and trying to attack the spirit transformation bottleneck, while Lin Su was aimlessly wandering in the chaotic sea of stars. Wander around and wait for the arrival of the chaotic sea of stars. Because Xianxia Palace has been destroyed, Chaotic Star Sea has now become a situation where Yama Palace and Spirit Beast Island are co-governing. Spirit Beast Island is in the light and Yama Palace is in darkness. The two do not interfere with each other and do not deliberately suppress others. Among the small and medium-sized forces, the cultivation atmosphere in the entire Chaotic Star Sea is much better than when the three pillars stood in opposition. In this way, another 5 years passed, and one day, a throbbing came from the Tianling token in his arms. Lin Su raised his head and looked in the direction pointed by the throbbing. The heavenly spirit realm was about to arrive, so, after 3 months. Not only Lin Su, but Ye Tianxiang and Chen Tian also sensed it, because they also had the Tianling token given by Lin Su in their hands. The bald man had reached the late nascent soul stage and must go to the spirit world with Lin Su, so he had already passed the master of Yama Palace to Chen Tian. Speaking of which, the cultivation levels of Chen Tian and Suidao are both at the peak of the early stage of nascent soul, so they can be regarded as equally matched. However, in terms of the personality required for the master of a palace, Chen Tian is more suitable. Suidao's personality is too much. He is lonely and arrogant, but Chen Tian is much calmer in comparison. The method of going from the heavenly spirit realm to the spirit realm is already in the jade slips. You should practice well and see you in the spirit realm in 500 years. The bald man gave Chen Tian the jade slip that Lin Su had given him that recorded the specific route to the Tianling realm. He could just follow Lin Su and there was no need for a map. It took half a year from the throbbing prompt on the Tianling token to the official arrival of the Tianling realm. Within this half year, Lin Su arranged everything about Spirit Beast Island and Yama Palace. In fact, there was no need for any special arrangements. Now that Spirit Beast Island has been rebuilt, the Yama Palace has also re-established branch halls in major cities. As long as it continues to coexist in light and darkness, what will it develop into in the future? Whether other forces will rise or not, these are not issues that Lin Su needs to consider. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Su crossed the boundary between the human world and the heavenly spirit world with the Tianling token in his hand. At the moment when he crossed the boundary, Lin Su tested it and found that with his current strength, even without using the Tianling token, you can pass through the junction safely. No wonder there is a legend that has been circulating in the chaotic sea of stars that as long as you reach the stage of becoming a god, you will naturally be qualified to go to the spirit world. A heavenly spirit token can only allow two people to pass through the boundary between the two realms safely, but it doesn't matter. There is the spiritual field space. Zhang Yunfan and the others just need to stay in the spiritual field space. Lin Su can bring them into the heavenly spirit realm. After entering the Tianling realm, Lin Su released everyone from the spirit field space. Although Ye Ping'er and Leng Lingyu followed Lin Su into the Tianling realm last time, they stayed in the spirit field at the beginning. I have never admired the beautiful scenery of the Sea of Clouds in this space, so naturally I want everyone to have a good look at it this time. Yunfan, have you made a breakthrough? Lin Su glanced at the crowd and immediately discovered the difference. Zhang Yunfan had a faint aura of the great Dao on his body. Although it was not obvious compared to his own, it was indeed an aura that could only be possessed by those who had broken through the great consummation realm of the late nascent soul. It's not a complete breakthrough. It's incomparable to you. I'm now half-stepped into becoming a god. Zhang Yunfan still has a good understanding of his situation. His current soul has not completely transformed. He has only begun to understand his own path. It will take some time to officially reach the stage of transformation. Half-step transformation into a god is already amazing. Lin Su was not trying to comfort Zhang Yunfan. This is the fact. As long as he can cross the chasm between the nascent soul stage and the god transformation stage, it will be a matter of time before he completely reaches the god transformation stage. Basically, as long as you can reach the half step of becoming a god, you are not far from the early stage of becoming a god. So, Zhang Yunfan said politely, but he couldn't hide the look of pride on his face. It was obvious that he was in a good mood for being able to break through before the bald man and Xiang ancestor, while the bald man and Xiang ancestor looked constipated. Their expressions showed that they were already unhappy at being left far away by Lin Su, and now that they were thrown away by Zhang Yunfan again, one can imagine the depression in their hearts. Father-in-law, Tian Yuan, it seems that you are not far from a breakthrough. It seems that everyone has made great progress in the past 5 years. Although Patriarch Xiang and the bald man Tian Yuan have not broken through yet, their auras are very different from before. With Lin Su's eyesight, he can naturally see that both of them are on the verge of breaking through. They may break through at any time, and perhaps only one person is needed. A small amount of qi is enough. Zhou and the other girls have also entered the late nascent soul stage. It seems that the small half pool of spirit transforming liquid is worth the money. When Lin Su said this, the faces of the Xiang ancestor and the bald man looked much better, and everyone entered the Sea of Clouds under the leadership of Lin Su. Of course, it is the dragon and tiger beast that leads the way in the Sea of Clouds. This big cat divine beast has been sleeping in the spiritual field space since its bloodline awakened, and it only woke up recently. Because of the complete recovery of the divine beast's bloodline, its strength has improved by leaps and bounds, and it is now half-stepped. The god's cultivation level is comparable to Zhang Yunfan's. Lin Su originally wanted to give the dragon tiger beast a transformation pill to transform into a human form, but the dragon tiger beast refused, saying that it still preferred to maintain its original form, so that it would look like a divine beast. With the dragon tiger beast leading the way, it only took a few days for everyone to arrive at the Tianling continent. Anyway, the Tianling realm would stay for a full year after descending into the human world, so there was no need to rush to the spiritual world channel immediately. After soliciting everyone's opinions, everyone unanimously decided to visit various places in the Tianling realm before going to the spiritual world. At the first stop, Lin Su led everyone to the elves. Among the people, Ye Ping Len Lingyu, Lin Su, including the dragon tiger beast, all benefited greatly from the fountain of life. Of course, Zhang Yunfan and others had to go in and soak in it. Such benefits should not be wasted, right? Lin Su's return to the elves made the entire elves boil. More than 500 years ago, because Lin Su purified the demon spirit and saved the world tree, the elves survived the crisis and entered a period of rapid development. In the past 500 years, the overall strength of the elves has been greatly improved, and there is a trend of becoming the first race in the Tianling continent. This time, Lin Su came to the elves again, and naturally received the warm hospitality of the entire elves. The one who received Lin Su was still the high priest Maya. Although his cultivation did not increase, he looked no different from more than 500 years ago. Lin Su secretly sighed that the elves were indeed a race with a long lifespan, which was really unique compared to the human race. High Priest Maya did not object to Lin Su's proposal to let Zhang Yunfan and others bathe in the fountain of life. After the restoration of the Tree of Life, the life force in the Fountain of Life was greatly enhanced. It was no big deal to let a few more people enter it. The Fountain of Life did have a miraculous effect on the growth of cultivation. After soaking, the cultivation of several people had made considerable progress. Zhizuier reached the late stage of Yuanying, the great perfection. Xiang Patriarch and the bald man Tianyuan broke through the bottleneck and entered the half-step transformation realm, and Zhang Yunfan completely reached the early stage of transformation, and his cultivation caught up with Lin Su. After leaving the elves, Lin Su and his companions visited several other races. Although they did not encounter the Fountain of Life, they were greatly enlightened. The races in the celestial spirit realm were much more complicated and novel than those in the human realm. Unfortunately, the celestial spirit realm had a limited stay in the human realm, and they could not travel all of them in 1 year. Seeing that the 1-year deadline was approaching, Lin Su and his companions could only regretfully give up the idea of continuing sightseeing and rushed to the Serpent People tribe to go to the land of death through the Sky Pillar. Finally, they successfully entered the Spirit Realm passage when the 1-year deadline was about to expire. Spirit Realm, here we come.